Welcome back to Homeline's series of videos explaining our 2020 Minnesota Renters Agenda. This will be the second video in the series, and today we'll be explaining the first of 4 bills proposed by Homeline to better level the legal playing field between renters and landlords.
This bill is about pre-eviction notices and court reform. From 2015 to 2017, there were roughly 13,000 non-commercial tenant evictions filed per year in Minnesota. Evictions are a really big deal for both individuals and families. They can lead to households doubling or tripling up in apartments, living in unsafe conditions, and even homelessness.
So in Minnesota, evictions can be filed super quickly, almost always without the tenant's knowledge. Once an eviction is filed, it will appear on the renter's record as an eviction indefinitely, and it's reportable by tenant screening agencies for the next 7 years, whether the eviction was warranted or not. In fact, even if the tenant facing eviction prevails or wins in housing court, they'll still have that eviction on their record.
So in most states, 43 to be exact, a landlord must notify a tenant before filing an eviction against them. However, in Minnesota, there's no requirement. This is unfair because tenants are required to notify landlords if they plan on filing a rent escrow case. For example, if a landlord breaks a lease by failing to make necessary repairs, the tenant must offer written notice, allowing the landlord 14 days to fix the problem before anything can be filed in court. Homeline believes the renter should be permitted the same time frame as landlords to fix an issue.
So the average eviction process in Minnesota only lasts about 3 to 4 weeks. That's often not enough time for tenants to prepare their defense. The result could be a family being forced out of their home. So what does Homeline's 2020 Minnesota Renters Agenda do to fix these problems? Let's take a look.
With our policy, a landlord will be required to give their tenants a pre-filing notice at least 14 days before a formal eviction action can be filed. This will give the tenant an opportunity to fix the problem before being subject to the weight of having to leave their home with an eviction on their record. Also, our policy will give judges and housing court referees more discretion to extend the court timeline throughout the eviction process once one has been filed. This will give tenants a more reasonable time frame to prepare their defenses. This is especially important since many landlords have access to legal representation, while very few tenants can say the same.
So the outcome of this bill will be to cut down on the number of Minnesotans struggling with an eviction on their record. This bill will keep more Minnesotans who rent housed. And we're going to keep the conversation going in our next video about eviction expungement reform, so stay tuned.
Do you support the implementation of pre-eviction notices and the reformation of eviction court processes? Do you support eviction expungement reform? Do you think Minnesotans who rent should have the right to a warm home? Do you think renters deserve fair leases, like ones that include the right to privacy? If so, head over to Facebook or Twitter to let us and your legislators know.
To find out more about Homeline's Renters Agenda and sign on to endorse our policies, click the link in the description and be sure to share this video and our Renters Agenda. The more people we get to sign on, the more likely these policies will become state law.